Good afternoon, everyone. So the week that's coming up is going to be the absolutely critical week in stock market. That's going to dictate what happens for the rest of the year. Does that mean the market continues with the bull run or the market top is in? Whatever it may be, I'm going to be breaking down everything that you need to know so you're better prepared and trade wisely. Okay, now that that's out of the way, what are those things that we need to be paying attention to? Well, number one, we need to pay attention to the 4 earnings that are coming out on Wednesday. And those 4 earnings are from Microsoft, Meta, Google, and Amazon. Now, the thing is, why their earnings are so important? Well, that's going to depend. That's because of what Intel did. So if you look at the chart of Intel, Intel beat on earnings, had a beat on earnings, and that was great because, and remember, Intel is a company that nobody expected to do well. I mean, it wasn't really going anywhere, but it was only recently with the chip sector and all that, the momentum that was building up. So Intel reshuffled, changed their strategies a little bit, and then of course they had a beat on earning, which is great. But the most important thing that happened with Intel is that they raised their guidance. And it's that guidance, because of the guidance, the stock moved up 26% from the move it had already made in the past. I mean, like, look at this kind of move. It's just absolutely amazing. So now, everyone in this so everyone starts thinking, okay, well, if Intel can raise their guidance, then we only wonder what's going to happen with some of the other names in the AI chip space, namely Microsoft, Meta, Google, Amazon. Do they also raise their earnings? Because if they do raise their earnings, then this we're seeing in chip sector here where it's 18 consecutive green days. I'm telling you, I mean, this just becomes a launch pad for even further move to the upside. So that's why the wordings of what they say for Microsoft, Meta, Google, and Amazon, if they all come out saying similar things of raising their guidance, then yes, then that makes our bullish case much stronger, much stronger. But on the other side, if we look at the bear case, right, the bear case unfortunately or fortunately, depending on how you look at it, the bear case has just way too many points that we need to talk about here, because it just seems like the bear case is a little bit heavy on things that we have to discuss versus the bull case, and bull case is literally just, hey, our Microsoft, Meta, Google, Amazon are going to be raising their are they going to be raising their outlook or not? If they do, then that's great. The bullish case continues. So in terms of like bear case, now one thing you need to understand is this move that you're seeing in SMH, the 18 consecutive green days, the amazing pull, right? This is only happening in just one sector. So now when you look at every other sector, right? Whether you look at the software, you look at the healthcare, you look at the industrial, none of them are doing what the SMH is doing. So you look at Bitcoin, you look at gold, everything is down. But it's only the semiconductor AI space that's actually just on a rip. So that tells me that all the money that's in different sectors is just getting rotated into SMH. Now, why do I say that? Because if new money was coming in, then your other sectors will also be climbing, right? Your healthcare will be climbing, financials, industrials, everything will be climbing with it because then the new money is coming in. But here, new money is not coming in. It's just the money rotation that's happening that's pushing the price of SMH to go even higher and higher and higher, right? And that's taking all the other names with it, like the names like Nvidia, Microsoft, Meta, Google, Amazon. All these names are just pulling AMD, Intel. So they are all doing the heavy lifting. The SMH is doing the heavy lifting. Now, when the other sectors are not doing so well and only one sector is doing well and all the money is flowing into just one sector, well, there's a name for that, and it's called the narrow leadership. Narrow leadership basically means all the money just coming into the SMH or one sector for that matter. That becomes a little bit dangerous, because when you start factoring in, so imagine like, you're driving on a highway, you're doing 120 and there are no other cars around you. So you're doing 120. So 120 is going to feel safe because there's no other vehicles on the road. So you can really are just cruising at 120. But the moment something comes in, front of your vehicle, whether it's the animal or some other vehicle, then the moment you slam on your brakes, then you realize, how fast you were going. So right now with the SMH, right, the semiconductor index, what's happening? It's doing its 120 right now. So everything looks like safe in that way because there's no brakes. The brakes haven't been put on it yet. Think about the narrow leadership that I just mentioned earlier is the faster it goes up, the faster it also comes down. And when you look at some of the other things that's happening with this, with SMH, you look at the RSI, like I just pulled up the RSI at the bottom. The thing about RSI is when it starts hitting 70 means it's been overbought. And that means, you can expect trend to reverse. But in our case, the SMH, it's actually sitting at 85. So it's way above 70. So the RSI is just overbought. Like it's overbought like crazy. And so that's obviously, that's one factor that we have to just pay attention to. But there's some economic data that's also coming out that will be important to pay attention to. Namely, the first thing we need to pay attention to is the CPI. So Fed are going to talk about the interest rate, and everyone expect the interest rate to stay where they are for the time being, which is not a surprise. But people will be paying attention to the words that are getting used. Is the Fed going to be hawkish? Is the inflation going to be hotter than expected? Right. So that's one component that we need to very closely watch. That's the CPI. The other component that we need to also pay attention to is the GDP. Remember, last GDP, the economy only grew by 0.5. So imagine like if the GDP, the number comes out and the economy is not growing. So then also that becomes a problem. So now you have an economy that's not growing, and then you have hotter than inflation. Then that opens the door for stagflation, which is not good for stock market at all. And when we combine all these elements together, so let's say there is a fear of stagflation, then there is also, let's say, if Microsoft, Meta, Google, and Amazon, they come out saying they're reducing their guidance, so the guidance has been reduced a little bit, then that also adds fuel to the fire. Then, factoring in the RSI that's been overbought, the 18 consecutive green days. When we combine all these ingredients together, then that opens the door for trend to reverse. The thing is, nobody knows how it's going to go, right? Nobody knows that, but we can only prepare ourselves accordingly. So there are some things that I will be paying very close attention to leading into Thursday. So leading into Wednesday and then Thursday. So on Monday and Tuesday, there are some critical levels on SMH that I'm watching. So with SMH, as long as it's trading above 488, that's a positive sign. But let's say if on Monday, SMH starts losing 488, then that's not good. Heading into Wednesday, if SMH starts to show a little bit of more selling, then that just means somebody just starting to unload into possibly what may be coming on Wednesday and Thursday. So I'm going to be paying very close attention to what SMH does. In a bull case scenario, I want it to be trading above 488. Similarly, if we look at the Qs, Qs need to hold their 655 level. As long as 655 stays, if as long as it trades above 65 leading into Wednesday, so I'm talking about like Monday and Tuesday, that is a positive sign for a bullish case. In terms of SPY, as long as the SPY maintains and it's trading above its double bottom that it did, which is above 703, that is also a good sign. But the moment it start losing that on Monday or Tuesday, then then the dynamics change a little bit here. So those are some of the things that I'm watching. There's one more thing that I'm watching, which is Wix. Now the thing about this is, if I start seeing elevated numbers on Monday or Tuesday, let's say it starts getting up there above 20, then that basically means institutions are buying protection. And that usually is not a good sign. That leads into the possibility of some crazy move that may happen. So in bull case, you want the VIX to stay where it is at, at 18 point something, whatever, as long as it doesn't get above 20. So that would make the bull case stronger. But if you are on the bear side, you just the opposite is true of whatever I just said. So I'm going to be paying attention to the VIX, the Qs, the SPY, and the SMH at all those critical levels that I just mentioned. I'm going to be paying attention to that specifically on Monday and Tuesday, and then Wednesday, obviously the earnings come out and some economic data comes out, and then on Thursday Apple reports its earning, and then GDP also comes out. So first 30 minutes of the market open on Thursday becomes absolutely critical, because I'll be watching the tape. Is there a lot of bids stacking up? There's a lot of selling pressure, whatever it may be. So that's something that I'm going to be paying attention to as well. But really, I mean, what happens, whether we continue with this bull run or the market top is in, I guess we will start seeing some of those signals in the next couple of days. So I hope this video was useful and had some good information. If you like this kind of content, just please make sure you hit like and subscribe to the channel, because I do plan on uploading more market analysis videos on very regular basis. Until then, I'll see you on the next one. Thanks.